Once upon a time, in the great Igbo kingdom of Agbo, there lived a beautiful princess named Amarachi. She was the daughter of King Obina, the mighty ruler of the land. Amarachi was loved by all because she was kind, smart, and had a heart as pure as gold. Her beauty was known far and wide, and many princes from different kingdoms wished to marry her. But Amarachi had a secret. She did not want to marry any prince chosen by her father. She wanted to marry for love. Her heart longed for something different, something magical, something real. In the same kingdom, there was a skilled hunter named Jidena. He was strong, fearless, and loved by the villagers for bringing home the best meat from the deep forest. Jidena was not a prince, nor was he rich, but he had something special: courage and kindness. One day, as Jidena was hunting near the palace gardens, he saw Princess Amarachi for the first time. She was standing by the river, feeding the fishes. Her beauty took his breath away. From that moment, he knew his heart belonged to her. Jidena knew he was not allowed to speak to the princess, but fate had other plans. One evening, as Amarachi walked alone in the forest, she stumbled on a stone and twisted her ankle. She cried out in pain. Jidena, who was nearby, rushed to help her. "Are you hurt, my princess?" he asked, kneeling beside her. Amarachi looked into his eyes and nodded. Jidena gently carried her back to the palace gates before running away. That night, Amarachi could not stop thinking about the kind hunter who had helped her. Days passed, but Amarachi could not forget Jidena. She found excuses to visit the forest, hoping to see him again. Jidena, too, longed to see her. One evening, as the sun painted the sky red and gold, they met by the river. "You should not be here, princess," Jidena said, but his heart was happy to see her. "I wanted to thank you," Amarachi said, smiling. "And maybe talk to you for a while." From that day on, they met in secret, talking about their dreams and fears. Slowly, they fell in love. King Obina noticed his daughter was acting strangely. She smiled to herself, hummed songs, and often left the palace without telling anyone where she was going. One day, he called her. "Amarachi, my daughter, a princess must marry a prince. You are the future of this kingdom." Amarachi nodded, but inside her heart, she knew she had already given it to someone else. The palace guards started noticing Amarachi's secret visits to the forest. Soon, whispers spread across the kingdom. "The princess is meeting someone in the woods," the villagers gossiped. A palace servant told the queen, and she told the king. King Obina became furious. "Who dares to steal my daughter's heart?" The king ordered his guards to follow Amarachi. The next evening, as she walked to the river, the guards hid behind trees, watching. When Jidena arrived, the guards jumped out. "See him!" they shouted. Amarachi screamed, "No! Please, father, he has done nothing wrong." But it was too late. Jidena was captured and taken to the palace. King Obina sat on his throne, staring at Jidena. "You are just a hunter. How dare you think you can love a princess?" Jidena knelt. "My king, I never meant any harm. I love your daughter with all my heart." The king's face was hard. "Love is not enough. You must be punished." King Obina declared, "Jidena shall be banished from this land forever. If he is seen near the palace again, he will be executed." Amarachi fell to her knees, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Father, please." But the king would not listen. Jidena was thrown out of Agbo, left to wander far away. Days turned into weeks, and Amarachi refused to eat or smile. She missed Jidena terribly. The queen tried to cheer her up, but nothing worked. Her heart was broken. Jidena walked for days without food or water. He wandered into a neighboring village, tired and weak. A kind old man named Namdi found him and took him in. "You have the heart of a warrior," Namdi said. "Do not lose hope." Jidena decided he would not give up. He would find a way to return for Amarachi. King Obina announced that Amarachi would marry Prince Emeka, a wealthy prince from a faraway land. The wedding was set to happen in 3 months. Amarachi's heart sank. "I cannot marry someone I do not love," she whispered. The queen tried to comfort her, but nothing could change the king's mind. One night, Amarachi's maid, Amoka, sneaked out to find Jidena. She found him training with Namdi. "The princess still loves you," she whispered. "You must save her before it's too late." Jidena's heart filled with hope. He knew what he had to do. Jidena and Namdi devised a plan to rescue Amarachi. "We must be careful," Namdi warned. "The king will not make this easy." Jidena trained harder than ever, preparing himself for the battle ahead. He would not let anything stop him from being with Amarachi. On the night before Amarachi's wedding, Jidena sneaked into the palace with Amoka's help. He reached Amarachi's chambers and whispered, "We must go now." Amarachi's eyes filled with tears. "I am ready." But just as they were about to leave, the palace guards burst into the room. "See him!" they shouted. Jidena pulled out his dagger. "I will not go without a fight." Jidena fought bravely, blocking the guards' attacks with his dagger. He was outnumbered, but his love for Amarachi gave him strength. Amarachi grabbed a heavy vase and threw it at one of the guards, creating an opening for Jidena to escape. "Run, Amarachi!" Jidena shouted, pulling her towards the balcony. They climbed down a vine and dashed into the dark forest, with the guards chasing after them. The king's guards were swift, but Jidena knew the forest well. He led Amarachi through hidden paths, dodging arrows and leaping over fallen logs. The sounds of drums filled the air. Alarms had been raised across the kingdom. "We can't stop now," Jidena whispered as they hid behind a giant tree. "We must reach Namdi's village." Hand in hand, they continued running, their love stronger than their fear. At dawn, they reached Namdi's village. The old man was waiting for them. "You made it," he said with relief. "But the king will not stop hunting you." Jidena and Amarachi knew they could not stay long. They needed a new plan, a way to live freely without fear. Back in Agbo, King Obina was furious. "Find them. I want my daughter back," he roared. The kingdom was turned upside down in search of the missing princess. The king sent warriors to every village, offering rewards for their capture. But love has a way of outsmarting even the mightiest kings. With Namdi's help, Jidena and Amarachi journeyed to a distant land where no one knew them. There, they built a new life, free from the rules of royalty. They married under the stars, surrounded by friends who saw their love as a gift, not a crime. One evening, a familiar face appeared in their village. It was Amoka, Amarachi's maid. "The king is dying," she said. "He wishes to see you." Amarachi's heart ached. Despite everything, he was still her father. Jidena and Amarachi decided to return. Disguised as travelers, they entered Agbo, where the once mighty king lay weak in his chambers. "My daughter," the king whispered. "Forgive me." Amarachi held his hand. "I forgive you, father." With tears in his eyes, the king took Jidena's hand. "Take care of her." King Obina passed away that night, leaving Amarachi as the rightful ruler of Agbo. With Jidena by her side, she vowed to rule with kindness and wisdom. Their love had survived every storm. Under Queen Amarachi's rule, Agbo flourished. She changed the laws, allowing people to marry for love, not status. The people cheered, for she had brought a new dawn to the land. Jidena and Amarachi's love story became a legend, told for generations in Agbo. They proved that love can break barriers, unite kingdoms, and change history. And so, they lived happily ever after.